Hi everybody, this is day 20 of my testimonies. Back in the 1990s, the Berlin Wall came down and Russia opened up to evangelism. I was part of a group of pastors that was able to go and start some churches there in Russia. God gave me a prophetic word that when our guys went over to Russia, that they would meet a pastor who was married with 2 children, 2 daughters. They lived in a house and had a car. Now you might think, so what? But in Russia, most people lived in apartments and they did not have cars. So then the pastors, we all went for lunch and we were eating, and God put it on my heart to give $200 to one of the guys that was going over on the first trip. And so I just blurted out, God just told me to give you $200. And he says, well, good, give it to me. And I laughed. I says, I don't have any money. And I went home and I told Sylvia, the Lord said, give $200. And she's like, what? We don't have $200. I said, I know, but God can do it. And we were church planting in Muncie and living by faith. And Sylvia and I had an agreement. We pay today's bills and don't worry about tomorrow's. We believe that God will provide whatever is due at the moment. And we would just trust God for one bill at a time. So the day before the 2 guys were supposed to fly to Russia, I said to Sylvia, we have to give the money today. And she said, okay, I don't know how God's going to do it, but here's the money. So I took $200 and gave it to him. He told me that nobody who had said they would donate had actually donated. And later I found out, after I gave the $200, all the other money that he needed came in that day. So they went to Moscow, and sure enough, they went to the hotel where they were staying. And as they were going in the door, somebody was coming out, and they said, excuse me, in English. And the guy said, oh, Amerikansky. And they started talking, and it turns out that he was the Russian pastor that had 2 daughters and a house and a car. And they went to that place, and we became friends with him, and he hosted us to help us. And together we went to Russia 6 times and started 6 churches. It was very exciting. And in Russia, what's crazy is everybody walks, but this guy had a car. And everybody lives in apartments, but this guy had a house. That was a miracle that prophecy came true. So because so many people walk, we took a musician with us, and he would play his guitar, and we would be out on the sidewalk and we would sing a song, and 200 people in 5 minutes would gather around us. And then we would share our testimonies through our translator. And then we'd give an altar call, and anywhere from 25 to 50 people would get saved. And then we would just do this all day. We did this for a whole week. And we would invite people to come to a special place where we had rented a hall in the evening. And by the end of the week, we had 300 people coming. And out of that group, we started a church, and we would pick one of the guys who was faithful in coming and helping us evangelize. We would pick him and pray for him and bless him and call him the pastor. We started supporting him $100 American, which was plenty of money in Russia. And we successfully planted 6 churches and called 6 guys to be pastors out of the blue like that. It was amazing. It was very much like the book of Acts. When we would go to a new city, we needed a translator. So we would go to the university. We were in big cities with universities, and so we would ask if there was anybody that spoke English, and we would usually find them at a coffee shop, and that we would hire that person as our translator. They weren't necessarily saved yet, but as they would translate for us, they would get saved, and one of the translators even became a pastor. So that was pretty exciting how God used us. We saw thousands of people come to Christ, and we saw God do many miracles. Today there are 6 active, strong churches. So I just want to encourage you that God can do miracles. God can help you in your life. I just want to encourage you to trust God. Have a good day.